So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 5 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to dive into today includes the PlayStation Handheld Project Q, Spec Leaks, another PlayStation Showcase is on the way seemingly, a new God of War is potentially already in the works, a big update on the PlayStation 5 Pro, which I think most of us kind of missed with the craziness last week, and Factions 2 development seems to be fine, which helps me out a bit. First, yes or no, do you want another PlayStation Showcase from PlayStation this year or not after this past one? I saw most of you give the PlayStation Showcase a bad rating recently, but I also saw some of you give it a good rating. I want to see where both groups kind of stand here. I personally definitely want another PlayStation Showcase, so first party stuff later this year, but that's just me. What about you? So comment below yes or no if you want another PlayStation Showcase later this year or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Factions 2 development is seemingly fine. So at this point, I assume most of you know what's going on with Factions 2. That pretty much broke my heart on Friday if you saw me on Twitter. So Factions 2 has been in development for 4 years. So we've been waiting for 4 years, and apparently it still needs more time before it gets shown, according to Naughty Dog, along with them announcing that they have other projects in the works alongside a single-player experience. Jason Schreier from Bloomberg basically came out with an article after that Naughty Dog post claiming that Bungie questioned the long-term viability of Factions 2 and decided that it needs to be reassessed. He also claimed that the Factions 2 team has been scaled down. Now, this got me worried because 4 years later and only concepts, and they still need more time along with scaling down the team. All of that together doesn't sound really good. What I hoped was happening was that the team was being scaled down because the project was near completion. Bungie questioned the long-term viability of the project, so that could be how they're releasing content or how they're monetizing the project, etc. I'm hoping it's high-level stuff. They've been working on this for 4 years. They have a product here in the back. They're not just going to throw that away. So that was my hope, but what added more hope was hearing from people at Naughty Dog themselves. First up, we have Samuel Prince, who's a lead editor over at Naughty Dog, saying this in regards to the Naughty Dog post. I can assure you, it smells great in this kitchen. After that, we have Paul Bishai, who's a game designer there and is working on the multiplayer itself. And he replied to a worried fan saying this: "Everything is great. Thank you. Still working hard on multiplayer with a talented team." So definitely positive stuff right there. The only thing that stings is, according to Jeff Grubb, Factions 2 was going to be shown at the last showcase, but was pulled. I read that and it hurt me even more. I hope we get a teaser just to see how the game plays a bit sometime in the near future, maybe at Summer Games Fest, but what we don't have to wait to hear more about is the next PlayStation Showcase, and that's next up in the video. Now, diving into the second story of the video, the next PlayStation 5 Showcase. So this story isn't really that deep. Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols recently went on the Iron Lords podcast and stated that he's heard that another PlayStation Showcase will be happening later this year. To me, this makes sense. There are a lot of first-party studios that have not given updates in 3 to 4 years. They definitely have something to show, but they didn't. This also adds to Tom Henderson not too long ago saying that Sony held back stuff from the recent showcase as well that was ready to be shown, and he doesn't know why. I personally wonder if this past showcase was supposed to happen last September but was delayed to this May, and Sony slapped on the reveal of the Project Q Handheld, which we'll talk about more in sec. But let's hope this September we get another showcase. But you guys let me know if you see a second showcase happening in September or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the third story of the video, Project Q Spec Leaks. So Tom Henderson, the same person who leaked the existence of the Project Q handheld and teased the upcoming PlayStation 5 Pro, which we'll talk about more so later on in the video, has recently revealed that the device will have a battery life of about 4 hours. This kind of took me by surprise, considering this thing is a streaming device. You're not playing anything locally? Why is it just 4 hours? But I guess if you add that this controller also has DualSense features like adaptive triggers and haptic feedback, along with an 8-inch screen to power up, the battery, I guess, would start to drain. Then again, if you look at something like the Logitech G Cloud device, it apparently lasts 10 to 12 hours. That device is also a streaming-only machine. I hope we get more information at Summer Games Fest or sometime soon about this handheld, with it potentially launching in November. I want to know, I want to understand why it's only 4 hours. Now, diving into the fourth story of the video, the next God of War is potentially already in development. So last year we got God of War Ragnarok ending the Norse series that started back in 2018. This was originally going to be more than 2 games, but Sony Santa Monica decided 2 games was enough. And honestly, I'm for that. Games nowadays take about 4 years to make. Going through a trilogy, you're waiting over a decade to play through that. That's crazy to think about. I think we need more series with just 2 games for 1 story. If you want to extend that franchise, start a new story. I like what they're doing here with God of War. But coming back to the next God of War, it looks like it's potentially already in development thanks to a job posting over at Sony Santa Monica for a senior combat designer. If you scroll down to the requirements section, you'll see this. Must have knowledge of God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok 2022, and be able to speak in depth about the combat systems, mechanics, and enemies. They clearly state they want someone who knows the new God of War games and how they play. This seems like an indication that they're making a new God of War game, which isn't surprising considering God of War Ragnarok sold 11 million copies in 3 months. They definitely make bank off this franchise. Now, the question is, what is this next God of War? Could it be a Miles Morales spin-off for Atreus, or to complete that story where he's finding the giants? Or is it the next full-fledged God of War title with Kratos and Atreus in maybe Egypt, for example? I personally hope it's the next big God of War with Kratos, but I'll take either, honestly. And now diving into the final story of the video, a big update on the PlayStation 5 Pro. So this is something that I think slipped under a lot of people's radars, but I think it's pretty significant. Tom Henderson, who leaked the existence of the DualSense Edge, or DualSense Pro as we knew it at the time, has accurately leaked 2 more products. This past week we got the confirmation that both the Project Q Handheld is real and that the PlayStation earbuds are also real, thanks to obviously the PlayStation Showcase reveals. That means this guy has managed to leak 3 pieces of PlayStation hardware. I have no clue how these are just slipping, but they have been back to back without fail so far. This leads me to believe that Tom's next 2 pieces of hardware leaks are kind of pretty much in the bag. He hasn't missed one so far. The next piece of hardware is this PlayStation 5 Slim detachable disk drive PS5, which launches possibly this September according to Tom, and the big one is the one that launches late next year, which is the PlayStation 5 Pro. These both seem very likely at this point, unless Tom Henderson says something else in the near future. I think not many people have acknowledged this with all the craziness that's gone on with the showcase and how people felt about the showcase and the lack of first party and all of that. But you guys, let me know if you're going to get either a PlayStation 5 Slim or a Pro. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is the body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with It is a new week. The PlayStation Showcase was last week. It's a new week. Let's see if we get more information piling up this week. This past weekend, we got a bunch of information out of nowhere. So let's see where the week takes us. If you're excited for the new week and, you know, what's coming this summer, destroy the comment section with "It is a new week." And I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.